Hey everybody, I'm Airick, and this is Tattoo Collectables. Hey everybody. Today we're going to do a segment on George Burchett, one of the pioneers in the industry. Here's a little film about him in case you don't know anything about George Burchett. This will fill you in on why he's worth collecting and why we started collecting. Born in 1872 in Sussex, England, George Burchett became enamored with tattooing at a very young age, tattooing his brother at the age of 5. By the age of 12, he was tattooing classmates, and when caught by the headmaster, was kicked out of school. At age 13, with school behind him, George had asked his parents if he could join the Royal Navy, to which they said no. So George went to his grandmother, who was happy to sign the papers to allow him to join at such a very young age. And then George was off, earning his living and learning his new job as a deckhand on the HMS Vincent. Within a very short time, George was tattooing all of his shipmates on the HMS Vincent, all the while traveling to exotic ports and learning different techniques and different skills in the world of tattooing. But in the end, George was most enamored with the Oriental style. The clean lines and the bright colors is what George had always dreamed of as a tattoo artist in his youth. In 1890, George Burchett Davis decided that he was done with the Royal Navy and decided to jump ship in Jaffa, which is modern-day Tel Aviv. He set up a small shop inside the Jaffa market and would tattoo Western visitors with religious iconography such as these. At the turn of the century, George Burchett Davis became very homesick, but still feared the authorities might pick him up for deserting the Navy. So he dumped the last name Davis and became George Burchett, moved back to England, and for a short while earned his living as a cobbler. In 1914, with the beginning of World War I, George decided to pick up his tattoo machines again and opened up a shop at Mile End Road right next to Waterloo Station in London. This is where he would tattoo day and night all the boys leaving for World War I, which propelled George into being a household name all around London and all around England at the time. In 1927, George started tattooing Horace Ridler, who would become known as the Great Oni. He tattooed him for over 150 hours from head to toe with zebra-like stripes. Horace said that he had paid over $10,000 to have this done, while George said it was only $3 and that he was never paid in full. What really propelled George's career was the tattooing of King George V, Frederick IX of Denmark, and King Alfonso VIII of Spain. Shortly after this, George retired and turned his shop over to both of his sons. He went on to become the first tattoo artist on television in 1938 with the BBC. He also did radio, the In Town Tonight show, among others. Coming out of retirement only with the start of World War II to help his sons keep up with demand, George Burchett continued to tattoo until his death on Good Friday in 1953, completing a 71-year career spanning multiple continents. Okay, I'm back, and hopefully that little film taught you a little bit more about George Burchett. So, entry level. These are entry-level collectibles. These are super easy to get for anybody that wants one, but they are super neat to have. This is an In Town Tonight card from Churchman Cigarettes. Churchman put them out in 1938. They had this little show on the radio called Who's in Town Tonight, and George Burchett was one of the regulars on there. He'd show up and talk about tattooing and how much he loved it. And we have quite a few of those. like I said, super easy to get. You just have to keep an eye out on the internet for them. Careful, because there have been some fakes going around. This is a 1999 reissue of the 1938 card. Now still, they're 20 years old, so they're still a decent collectible to have. On the backs, you'll notice that the 1938, I don't know if you can see that, we'll put some better pictures up. The 1938 version is black, whereas the 1999 version is purple. Now, it does have the date on the bottom of the 1999, but not of the 1938. So, what a lot of people will do, well, maybe not a lot of people, but some unscrupulous dealers out there will do, is they will take this 99, which is super easy to get, and they will erase or attempt to remove the date on the bottom. You got to keep an eye out there about these collectibles. They are the same as any other collectible. Anytime somebody collects something and you pay money for it, somebody else out there is going to be faking it. So you definitely want to keep an eye out for that. If they don't have any pictures of the reverse of the card, just shoot them a message and ask them to send you one. Normally, if they're good dudes or ladies that are selling on the internet, they will send you a picture of the back, no problem. They want you as happy as you want to be. So like I said, those are super easy to get. If you send me subscribe and send me a DM, I'll tell you how easy these are to get and how we get them easily. They're worth about $50 to $100 for the old ones. I'd say about $25 to $50 for the new ones. You can get them significantly cheaper than that, though. Like I said, they are an entry level. This one, a little bit harder to get. This is a 1956 by Peter Searle. He was a super famous illustrator. You can look him up. He's great. He did a bunch of children's books and stuff like that. But obviously, he was in the studio with George Burchett while he was doing tattoo, because from the back of this, we compared it to some other historic images, and it's a dead match for Burchett's shop. Plus, if you look at enough pictures of George, you will definitely notice that is him in the picture. Although the writing on the back is all in Russian, because these are, like I said, from the Russian Federation. To get one mint is a little harder than finding them with stuff already written on them, because they are almost 80 years old now. But you'll find them out there. You'll pay a little bit more for these than you will for the cards, but I love anything I can get with George Burchett on it that's an authentic collectible. I love to get. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing if you are. If not, please subscribe, because it makes me cry when you don't.